So Q4 is the last quarter of the year. It has some of the biggest selling holidays in it. You have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, and New Year's. So it is some of the biggest buying times in the year. Also Halloween. I like Halloween. It's actually my favorite holiday. And some other things. So Q4 is a time where everything sells well. The sales ranks tend to go a little bit higher. Your whole pricing strategy goes out of the window, and finding products becomes the key to success. So what are some things that you can expect during Q4? One of them is just madness, pure and utter madness on Amazon, on when you go out shopping in the stores, finding products. There's going to be madness. You want to make sure that you keep an eye out for your correspondence from Amazon. They usually do some kind of toy restriction, so you want to make sure that you keep an eye out for that. So if you need to buy anything, to make sure that you qualify, you can get that locked down and done. You also want to make sure that you are keeping your systems in place during Q4, because you could get a performance notification for items that you're buying. So you just want to make sure you're still keeping receipts, maintaining receipts, and all that stuff during Q4. Now is the time to start signing up for Be on the Lookout groups, to sign up for Google Alerts, to sign up for lists and things of that nature, so you can find out what those hot toys are going to be. They're usually announced in late August and September. Those fingerlings, those monkeys that go on your fingers, I think that people first started mentioning them in August last year. So now is the time to start paying attention to what those big products are going to be. If you've never set up a Google Alert, it's actually quite simple. You just Google Alerts, and it will take you to the page. I'm not going to show it here because it'll show you what Sam's alerts are. I know. Dang, nabbit. So you can put in, all you do is it'll take you to that page, and then you just put in whatever alert that you want to be signed up for. So you can do Amazon News, top toys, top products for the holidays, any variation of those phrases or anything like that. Around this time of the year, people get really excited about putting out their top 10 lists or their top 15 or 20 or 25 lists. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to those. All products sell well during Q4. Like things that you didn't think were going to be popular products will turn out being popular products during Q4. Toys really excel. Kids own Q4. No matter what anybody says, kids own Q4. It's all about, another thing to look out for, and I'm getting sidetracked here, is YouTube. Because a lot of kids nowadays love to watch people playing with toys on YouTube. So that's looking at the items that some of the top bloggers are talking about can also be a good way to kind of hone in on what some of those popular products are. When we first mentioned that fingerlings were going to be popular, I actually bought one for my goddaughter. And when I gave it to her, and I gave it to her right away, she said, oh, I had been wanting one of these because I had been watching the YouTube podcast and the person had been playing with it and she was excited about it. So actually, if you have kids or you have grandkids or nieces or nephews, ask them about some of the toys that they're excited about, because that can also be a great way to figure out what some of those toys are. Don't forget to look at bestseller lists. So if you go to Google, and I'll show you, you go to Google and you type in Amazon bestsellers, it'll take you to the bestseller list on Amazon, and it will break down the 100 bestsellers for every category, and then also subcategories. So you can go to, where are toys at? You can go to toys, and there's all these subcategories, and there's subcategories within these subcategories. So I went to toys and action figures and toys, and then as you can see, I can go down even further. So you can see here what some of the top toys are right now on Amazon. For any of these categories, can be for the bestseller category or anything like that. Board games also do really well. Monopoly has like 1,000 editions. I can't play Monopoly. I don't have the patience for it. I can't do it. I can't. People can sit and play Monopoly for 4 hours. I can't do it for 30 minutes. But those LOL dolls, as you can see, I don't know what this one is. This is pets. Those are pets. Cards Against Humanity. What Do You Meme? Which is actually a pretty funny game. It's like so you can see what some of the top toys are. So using these bestseller lists are also a great way to take advantage of the products that you have or the resources that you have. Yes. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, if you send them in though, they'll probably sell super quick depending on what the sales rank is. People usually, yeah, yep. So a lot of people start sourcing for Q4 in late August. They start that early. How much to buy, that's kind of a hard question to answer. You don't want to speculate too high and too low. So for example, a lot of people, when Pie Face came out, it was a game that was flying off the shelves. It's that game where you like shoves a pie in your face. And then they came out with Speak Out, which is that game that had like a little thingy that you put in your mouth, and then you have to try to say phrases. A lot of people thought that those were going to do as well as they did, so a lot of people bought way too many of them, and they didn't perform as well as everybody thought they were going to perform. So you kind of have to find that sweet spot of what those products are going to be. Another really helpful thing that you can try to do is you can speculate using the keeper graph. So what you do is you can view the keeper graph for these items. So let me go to Speak Out, for example. So you can use the keeper graph to do research on how something performed in the past. So as you can see, this is a really busy keeper graph. I'm going to select at all of the history for this keeper graph. So it goes back. Can you guys see this in the office well, or do you need me to blow it up? All right. So this is I'm looking at all of the information for all of the time that this has been on Amazon. Now, if there are points of information that you want to look at, if it's there and there's a line, it means it's been disabled. So just click on it, and then that'll appear on the keeper graph. Like, see the buy box right now? If I don't want to see that, I can just click on it, and it'll be gone. But what I'm going to do is I can see that this product goes back to April 2017. So if I'm thinking about Q4 for this year, what I could do is I could go back, and the dates down at the bottom. Do you see it? August, September. So what I can do is I can go back to the end of August, click and highlight until about January. So let me do that again. Okay, so you can see right here now, it says September 1st to about January 1st. So what I can do is I can look at the sales trends for that last year with the Keeper Graph. So I can see what the buy box price was around that time. I can see that Amazon was on the listing. I can see that around October, it spiked a little bit. And this is around Halloween. It's a party game. So I can assume that people bought a lot of these because they were having Halloween parties and they wanted something funny to do. So these are the kind of things that you can think about when you're doing when you're looking at a Keeper Graph. So scroll over a little bit more. You can see the closer we get to Christmas, that sales rank, that green line, is like way, way, way down at the bottom because a lot of people wanted to buy it because it looked like a fun game for kids. You can see what the buy box price was during that time period. So if it's a product that you think is going to still sell well the next year, you can kind of look at the Keeper Graph and kind of speculate on how it did around that same time of the year. You can also see how many offers. So there were between 23 to 13 offers. So looking at the Keeper Graph can give you a lot of good information about how something performed last year. But you want to be careful with that because you don't want to base all of your information off of that. You have to kind of find the happy medium. How do you find that happy medium? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. You have to look at the other pieces of information to kind of judge that and see how it's going to do before you make that decision. But this is kind of what you want to do. So know that the prices are going to go up or the sales ranks are going to be higher because more products are going to sell. So you know how we have like the push numbers during Q4. In most cases, you can go over those push numbers because the playing field has opened up to the products that are available. The pricing strategy pretty much goes out the window during Q4. It's like every man for himself price-wise. Look at the individual products, compete with those individual products, and make your decisions based off of that. I know. It's just, I've gotten used to it at this point. Just you and your shenanigans, Adele. You lost Jerry? You lost Jerry? You lost Jerry? There's also still bagels in the kitchen, I think, if the interns didn't get to them all. So this is kind of what you want to do to get ready for Q4. You just want to look at all of the products, sign up for lists, get your packaging supplies in order. That's another thing. If you prep on your own, be ready for a surplus in shipping supplies. We had clients last year who had a ton of product and they ran out of packaging stuff. So instead of being able to send products into Amazon, they couldn't because they ran out of packaging supplies. So you don't want that to happen to you. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is always the case every year, and it's never really the case. But when is the good time to stop sending things in for Q4? This is that, and that's the answer-ish. It all depends on Amazon fulfillment centers. So some people will say about 2 weeks before Christmas is kind of when you want to slow down on sending items in because it gets to be a little bit more congested at the prep centers and it takes a while for them to check things in. But we've seen both sides of the coin. There have been times that we've sent things in like a week or even closer out and they've gotten checked in time to be live for Christmas. And then there have been times where we have sent things in the beginning of December, the end of November, and they haven't been checked in until January. So there's really no rhyme or reason to it, but the 2 weeks is usually what the recommended time is. So if you want to try and get as many of your products in before then, that is what is highly, highly, highly recommended. And a couple of other things. I just want to make sure I touch base on everything. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yep. Yep. So you do have that. People, I like gift cards in all honesty because then I can get what I want. So there will be an influx of shopping just after Christmas. So be prepared for that. Another thing to be prepared for is the sweet, sweet success of Q4 and the horrible, horrible depression after Q4. Because you will see your sales skyrocket during Q4, and then they will taper off in January, and you will be depressed. That's normal. It happens to everyone. People are getting buyer's remorse. They're like, I spent $500. I'm not spending money again until April. So there will be a slowdown in sales in January and February. They usually pick up around March-ish. So that's just something to be aware of. If there are any brands that you want to sell now or sell during Q4, now is the time to check out brand restrictions to see if there's anything that that you might want to be able to sell. Pay attention to other obligations. Like I know is like key to like go hard and shop and everything, but also pay attention to the other things that are going on around you. You don't want to get suspended during Q4 because you didn't answer performance notifications. You don't want to miss out on the holiday celebrations with family because you got to go sourcing. So definitely don't forget about everything that is going on. As I mentioned with retail arbitrage yesterday, make sure that you sign up for newsletters because there are flash sales going on or discounted coupon codes that come out in emails. So make sure you do that. Pay attention to popular culture. I talk about this all the time. When me and Ike did the webinars, we would talk about it all the time. When I do them by myself and I'm talking to myself looking crazy, I talk about it as well. But popular culture can be a great way to find products to sell on Amazon. So when you hear me talking about movies coming out and TV shows and all that stuff, those are perfect buying opportunities. So that's also something to think about. So are there any questions, any ideas that people have, anything that you want to ask me about before I move on to the next topic? Yes.
I missed this. I'm not going to go over this. Is cheaper and it's on eBay on it too?
Sometimes it does.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yep. So anything else that you guys have for me? Okay, I'll give you guys a couple of seconds, not a couple of seconds, couple of minutes. The next session starts at 3:15. So if you want to go grab some coffee or run to the restroom, you can do that so that we can talk about performance notifications at 3:45. I might start that a little bit sooner because it's going to be more than 15 minutes for me to go over some of those things. So if you guys want to take a break, we'll start up at 3:15.